Thank you, Nikki. It's wonderful to be here with all of you and share a little bit about what we're doing, but most importantly about what you guys are doing. I've heard a few words talked here that are right on my radar, and incentives is really one of those major areas where I'm focusing. I actually backed into the study of incentives by studying economics. I'm an egghead kind of guy, but I love Dan Pink, and I want to encourage you guys to go out and Google him on TED and watch his 10 or 15-minute presentation on incentives from Drive. Because really, that's what direct sales in a lot of regards, in my viewpoint of it, it's about incentives. My company's been developing marketing and training and coaching technology in the direct sales industry for about 10 years. And we feel like we've really created something by tapping the next wave of what we believe is going to happen in the direct sales and in all technology and all communication. And that is really getting engagement through incentives and really cutting through a lot of the clutter and getting attention to the field leaders and to all the different participants out there. You see, I mean, Nikki shared some phenomenal things today about trends. We've got technology, we've got social media, and we've got Generation X and Y and all these different people coming up. How do we tap these different types of technologies? How do we tap these different types of markets? It's a great question to really ponder. It's a great question to really tackle. And what I found in my experience in doing a lot of different work in recruiting, retention, rewards, and doing those types of designs of systems for marketing, systems for retention, systems for helping people coach through that process, is really tapping into those trends of what she's talking about. And really what I want to focus on is the 80-20 gap. I mean, the DSA, the DSWA, all the different companies out there who do research on this industry. And as each one of you, if you do publish your statistics, you find probably 80% of the people are product users, and 20% of those people then are builders, some form of builder, consultant, coach, distributor, associate within your compensation plan and within your organization, and they're actually building a business. How do we activate the 80%? How do we get the incentives aligned in doing that? And Dan makes a great point in Drive when he says that so many things, companies want to throw on extrinsic incentives, things that motivate from the outside in. How do we tap the intrinsic drivers that already exist within human beings, within distributors, the men and women out in the field? And the challenge that I've seen with direct sales industry is that all of the great extrinsic and intrinsic incentives are at the 20% level, primarily. And what do I mean by that? We're a company that we're going to be doing, and a game we're actually going to be playing, which is going to be a lot of fun, which is Gamplify. It's the concept of bringing game dynamics and game thinking and proper alignment of incentives to the direct sales industry. It's the word amplify with G. It means to amplify your results using game thinking, game technology. And what we do in Gamplify is align the incentives not only for the 20% of those out in our field, but the 80% as well. And how do we do that? What happens in my experience is that companies, both corporate, regular companies, traditional sales companies, and then also direct sales companies, put all the money and the focus at the 20%ers. In game thinking, when you look at just traditional gameplay all across the world, there's what's called the Bartle player types. It's kind of like a DISC or a Myers-Briggs for those people who engage in any kind of game. 80% of the population are what you call socializers. They like low conflict, low interaction, low commitment social interactions. They like low conflict, low commitment social interactions. What in your compensation plan and what in your plan to reach out to them do you give that actually meets that need in a socializer? Your leaders, the ones that are upstairs in that room, the 20%ers, you just point them in the right direction they're going. They're achievers, right? They're the people that are going to do it anyway. They're going to overcome those obstacles. And you guys are figuring out how to harness those guys, right? And to really leverage them and empower them and coach them. I constantly spend my time focusing on the 80% because that's where the bulk of, if you're going to focus on a problem, you might as well go for the 80% of the problem versus the 20% of the problem. And I know this is, I don't come up here like a snake oil salesman and I have like a magic bullet. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I was dramatically moved by Michael Pink or Daniel Pink and these guys in incentives and understanding how to get in alignment. So what we've done is we've built a technology that allows us to build game, interaction with your products, with your service, with your compensation plan, that doesn't require throwing more money at it, more compensation at it, right? It's throwing and actually tapping the game drive within each one of us by creating games that even your product users and your newest, brand new distributor, associate, consultant, whatever you call them, as they come in, can they have something that they get rewards, intrinsic and extrinsic incentives that aren't costing you bottom line expenses, throwing more money at the compensation plan or whatever that may be. So if we can tap what's already inside of people, what they want to do, status, right? Think about the status. Where's the status level in your compensation plan? I mean, we all know the statistics. The average distributor only recruits 2.2 people, but most of the status levels are much higher than that. The really valuable ones, right? The ones that we promote, right? So how do we drive status, access, power, influence down to the lowest levels without bankrupting our compensation plans and really throwing money at the field? We know that rewarding the leaders is what really moves things, but how do we reward those people at the base of the pyramid, those 80%ers? And it's by getting a game where people are interacting on a regular basis, doing the very activities, what you guys were talking about. I haven't been down here today, but yeah, let's send them this Get Started kit. Well, how do we get them to interact with that? Even if we've got the best language about recruiting in there, how do we get them to know how to actually engage with your training material and put the right incentives that drive them intrinsically to do that? And that's where we turn it into a game. And it literally becomes a self-fulfilling, self-evolving coaching, mentoring, training program within itself, because people are engaging in the basic activities of integrating with your product, integrating with your compensation plan, forming teams, having fun, and really enjoying themselves. So what we're going to do at this event is we're going to Gamplify the DSWA event. Tomorrow, Friday, I'm going to announce a game. I'm also the voice of God in the back of the room, so if you hear the voice of God, it's me. So I'll be announcing a game, and that game is going to be the DSWA Roundup Points game. There's an offline scorecard where you're getting points for going and doing activities you would do anyway here. Meet vendors, connect with each other, network, attend events, those kind of things. There's going to be tables all around the room. Each table is going to have a roster on it. And there's going to be a team leader designated. Then they'll put their information in. And then we'll have a website, gamplify.us, right, where people will go in and there'll be a leaderboard. And each day we're going to be announcing which teams are leading in these basic activities of integrating and having fun at the DSWA celebration. And wait till you see the level of engagement, the level of fun as these ladies and men get together and compete with each other for doing something silly, just having fun at the DSWA event. And maybe you'll be able to translate what that may look like if we built a game around your product or service, or built a game around your compensation plan. And it cost you nothing, zero. All the incentives are intrinsic. It's the fun of playing a game. It's a fun of being on a team. It's a fun in doing certain activities that reinforce engagement with your product, focus and attention on your product or service, and engagement and focus in the financial activities that are going to level people up in the compensation plan. And so we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to call it the DSWA Roundup Points, and everybody's going to be going to rounding up points. They're going to enter the points online, click, click, click. You can do it on your iPhone, or you can do it on the internet when you get home, whatever. And each break, we're going to be announcing the teams. And just, it's going to be interesting. We've never Gamplified an event this big before. So it's either going to fail terribly and I'll never hear from you, or it'll be totally awesome, right? And you'll have fun and everybody else will have fun, and we'll just see how it goes. And we'll have an experiment together. So thank you for giving me a few minutes to talk to you. I'm so glad you guys are talking about incentives. That's really powerful. Have a great event. Nikki, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much, Kyle.